I always get confused between the difference between inclusive design and universal design. For anyone who's also in my position, would you be able to just highlight the difference?
I started in this field at the time that the first personal computer came out. Of course, the primary discussion at the time was universal design. And universal design came out of architectural design and industrial design. And I thought, wow, look at here, if we have digital systems, we can move from this notion of a one size fits all to a one size fits one, because without additional, well, I mean, this was at that time, right? I mean, digital systems were still very, very mutable. Intellectual property constraints were not great. We could basically take it and with almost no cost modify it so that it was different for each individual. So that then morphed into this idea of that not only could we take that view within the digital space, but also elsewhere. So we were looking at where is it possible to have a greater acknowledgement that people are different. This idea of one size fits all within a disability space I started to think, well, wait a sec, that doesn't really work very well, because if there's anyone that requires individualized design, it's someone with a disability. Uh, Started the process of, well, how do we achieve that? And how do we create systems that are sufficiently flexible that they would allow for that acknowledgement of diversity, that everybody's different, everyone requires something different. We need systems that can flex to offer the necessary choices for that. I think the biggest transition is that flipping of the perspective that it's not one size fits all, or it's not attempting to create a design that uh, addresses everyone's need, but in fact creating a system where we can acknowledge the diversity of individuals and create a design that can flex or adapt to the individual. The weird thing is that at the same time that I started the Inclusive Design Research Center, there was another inclusive design use of the term inclusive design that was started in the UK, and they came at it from an architecture and from a industrial design perspective. So from the same origins that universal design, it was originally coined, came from, and their approach was to address the high incidence disability area. So to make it more realistic, a more realistic form of universal design, acknowledging that businesses would have difficulty in achieving a design that was going to meet everybody's requirements. So they pushed out the inclusion of the design from the middle. So, what are the high incidence disabilities? How many additional customers could you gain by virtue of adding these features? So, here are the features that you should focus on, and here are the supports to make the business case for universal design or inclusive design. And the interesting synchronicity was that we actually started from the edge, right? So while they're pushing out from the middle, we're starting at the edge and saying, okay, what you need to do is need to go right out to the edge. So it was to some extent a really nice sort of complementary approach, although we didn't know at the time about each other's approach.